final match.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I don't know if I am. This is too exciting.
We have, again, Paul Heaver versus Daniel Taylor.
We've got 2 world champions, Paul in a different game, but he is runner-up for Imperial Assault, so he's no slouch in this game.
Yeah, so we're going to see them play against each other.
So something interesting, just real quick. I was talking to Paul yesterday during the Swiss rounds, and I talked to him. He was doing pretty well. He was undefeated at the time. Asked him if he was playing Imperial Assault and X-Wing, and he said yeah. And he said he actually had only played a few games of X-Wing since Worlds last year.
Oh, really?
He said, you know, he's won X-Wing a number of times, and he still wants to do well. But for the first time, he decided to put most of his effort into Imperial Assault. So he's been testing and playing really hard for this.
So it sounds like he really wants to win this time.
Yeah, definitely. So here are the players. They're already set up. They're pretty much ready to go. One thing of note here is normally rounds are 65 minutes. But here for the final match, we give them a little extra time because we know we know people tend to spend a little bit extra time thinking, and we don't want the match to come down to, you know, 1 point difference just because we ran into time. We want to give them as much time as possible to win an actual game. So we're getting started here.
Yeah, one thing we're going to see this time that we haven't seen so far is Devious Scheme is going to come into play. We've had a number of players with that in their list, but because they both had it, canceled out. And that's going to force an opponent to start the game with initiative and deploy first.
And so Daniel is the one with that card, so Paul is going to have to start. One of the big reasons why players like this card a lot is because it's often kind of viewed as taking initiative first is kind of weak because the first round is about setting up, right?
Yeah, it's first, if you deploy first, you don't know necessarily where your opponent is planning to go.
Yep.
Seeing where your opponent places their figures really helps you see what their plan is for the match. The other thing is initiative second round I think is a lot more helpful because at that point you'll be lined up to attack.
Agreed. Yeah, that's really when the firefight starts. So interestingly, I think Daniel's in the same spot. So this is the same map we saw in round 1. It's Jabba's Palace, but is the other mission, New Ownership. When some of its rules: when a figure enters a space containing a neutral mission token, that figure suffers 1 strain, and then its controller places it on or as close as possible to the space containing the rebel mission. Yeah. And then the door to the Rancor pit is locked to figures in interior spaces. A figure can attack the door to the Rancor pit. It has health of 8 and a defense of 1. And then there's one last ability, right?
Yeah, so at the end of each round, players are going to gain 4 victory points for each stash they control.
Those stashes are denoted by, I believe, the acrylic tokens out there, whereas the white ones, the cardboard ones, are the neutral tokens, where those are the ones that are going to take you over to the
those are the
rebel one. Yeah. So what I was actually about to say earlier, I think Daniel is actually playing. He's starting in the same spot he started last time we saw him here, right? He was on that. I believe he was on that side of the board.
Yeah, I think he was.
So I don't know if he's happy about that since Paul got to choose. I don't know. But Daniel seemed to make the most of it last time. So we'll see here. These lists are a little bit different. Paul has some bigger hitters. You know, the Bantha we saw earlier.
Yeah, the Bantha, which I don't know if the Bantha will be quite as useful in this map as the last map. There's a little bit more room for Daniel to maneuver around the Bantha. He can go for the main room. He can go into the Rancor pit if he wants to.
Yeah, it's still a little hard to maneuver, but there's definitely more space. I agree. It'll be interesting to see how Paul tries to use that to his advantage. I mean, he clearly won back in the round of top 16 with it, so he clearly knows how to utilize it.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be very strong, but I think Daniel's going to work hard to not group up. You see in the main room that there's a little more room for him to space out his units.
Definitely. Some other differences, we've got Paul Heaver, as we saw earlier. He has Vinto and Jabba as well, which Daniel does not have either. But Daniel has Shyla and Greedo on his side. So it's going to be a little bit of a different matchup. All figures we've seen in multiple lists today.
Yeah, we've seen, I think, the Weequay pirates in every list today.
Yep. Yeah, they're the big popular
Yep.
one.
And they both have Onar as well.
And one thing of note, again, Daniel has 2 Weequay, as we saw last round. Paul only has 1. So it worked out for Daniel last time. We'll see if it works out again. I don't know who has the advantage here. It's not a straight trade of a Weequay pirate for a Gamorrean guard, right? So it's a little bit different this time around.
Yeah, there's a lot more variety between their 2 lists. They do have a lot of overlap, but I think kind of their primary attackers are a little different. Outside of the Weequay pirates, you're going to see a lot of difference in strategy. Paul obviously is going to focus on getting the Bantha out there quickly and trying to attack as many figures as possible.
For sure.
Daniel, we'll see if he wants to take down the Bantha right away. If he can, that'd be great for him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Having 4 Weequays will definitely help him do that. Looks like most of the figures have been activated in this first round of setup. Paul still has Onar and Beast Tamer. And Daniel still has a couple. Looks like Greedo, Shyla, and I can't make out that third one. Not the Weequays, not Gideon. Probably Onar as well.
Yeah, I think it's Onar, Greedo, and Shyla left for Daniel.
No surprise there. He probably used Gideon and C-3PO early, and then probably set up the Weequays for next round. Interestingly, I see a Weequay over on the left there. So he's not going as aggressive around the corner as he did last time. He's clearly set up for the door this time around. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he has a lot of units right by the door. It could be that he wants to.
Greedo
here we go.
move again. Same as last time.
Yeah. It could be that he's prepared in case Paul moves into that space to then swarm around through the back.
Not a great attack.
Yeah. 1 canceled surge.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he got lucky with Paul's defense. Paul did not have a great defense roll either.
Yeah, neither of them rolled too well. Looks like they're discussing it right now.
Yeah,
I think looking at range.
Double checking range, but he clearly has it. He's got 4 on the dice. He can always add more if he wants with those surges. He's got more than enough surges, so that's not an issue for him. He does, however, if he does have to use a surge, then he only has 1 extra surge for his other stuff, which I don't think he has to, but that would make him choose between bleed and 2 extra damage.
So it looks like. Is it 5 away or 4? I'm trying to count. So he has.
I think it's 4.
Yeah, he innately has +1 accuracy.
He's going to play blitz to get an extra surge anyway.
Yeah.
So he's just going to. So he must not have had range then at that point, which I'm not sure about, but otherwise there's no point in playing blitz because if he had range, he wouldn't need the accuracy, wouldn't have to spend a surge on the accuracy. And that Weequay took 6 damage.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Or 4 damage. I think it was 4 damage. Yeah, it must have been 4 because they have 6 health.
Yeah.
Paul is confusing us. He's got some of the damage tokens that are 3 and 5, so you can't just assume.
That was our confusion last time.
Yep. Yeah, we double-checked that afterwards. So Paul's trying to figure out what to do next. Activating Onar. He's kind of deep in there, but he looks like he's going to come out and attack Greedo. Why not?
Yeah, looks like he's not going to open the door. I think that's the right move.
Yep. He's not set up for it either. He's pushed so many things off to the right there.
It looks like he's going to hang out there, not go further in, which is probably a good call.
Mm-hmm. And he gets the terminal, so they'll both control terminal at the end of the round. Daniel's counting out spaces for his own Onar. He's currently deep in there behind the door, I believe. Yep, there it is. Is he going to open the door?
Is he opening?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, at least right now he's not. Looked like he might for a second there.
Yeah, it looks like he was considering it. He was about to. I don't know if it's worth it right now with them both positioned around the corner.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason to open the door is if you want to go over and claim the objectives.
Yeah, and get the stash.
Right.
I don't know if it's worth. Certainly not with Onar to put him in the Rancor pit on his
No,
own.
yeah, that's a waste of resources there. So interestingly, compared to the first round we saw in the top 16, players were getting 2 victory points for each crate their figures were carrying. They could carry multiple crates, but it was only 2 per crate, so it took a while to get up to 4. Whereas here, as long as you control a stash, you get 4 right away. So I think there's a little bit more incentive to go after them, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. The other difference with this one, though, is you just have to control.
Right, you don't have to pick it up.
So you see the Bantha just moved in.
Beat up Greedo a little bit. So looks like maybe the Bantha was not activated at that point.
Yeah, he must have used Gideon or C-3PO. Probably used Gideon to move him.
Yep. Anytime you get a chance to move a Bantha for free, that seems good to me.
Definitely worth it. I believe Daniel's activating Shiloh right now.
Yeah, I think that was his last. So we're getting to the point where we kind of see how the setup is going to play out. Assuming no tricks, Daniel's going to get initiative. Do you think Paul is right in moving the Bantha out there? It leaves it open, but it also blocks off Daniel's attack on anything else, right?
Yeah, I mean, the advantage is he's going to be able to potentially attack a lot of Daniel's units next round. The biggest problem, though, is I think Daniel's really set up to attack the Bantha pretty easily.
Right.
So I mean,
he jumped in there with Shyla. Shyla wasn't going to do much other than move around, so he jumped in and nabbed a stash for 4 victory points.
Yeah, which is great for him.
It's 4 victory points, right?
Yeah, I think this could be a pretty close match, so those 4 points could help. Really, right now, they're mainly both set up to attack, though. I don't know. Neither of them seem as interested in going after the points.
No, they're just going after it. Black Market, and he gets mitigate off of Black Market. So as we see every game, this Black Market is just giving card advantage. Just continues to give whoever has it. In this case, it's only one player, but it's getting them free command cards each round, which, as we've seen, command cards keep swaying these games.
Command cards are very, very useful. And sometimes he is spending points to get it, but ultimately I think it's been worth it every time. Yeah,
it's mostly been damage, and it's mostly been going on Jabba and Greedo for most of the lists, which
why not? Particularly on Jabba. I mean,
yep.
Again, he's sitting in the back. He's not really going probably to get attacked. So there's no harm in just throwing the damage on him.
Definitely.
So it looks like they're looking at movement points.
I guess Paul was trying to play something?
Yeah, it looked like Daniel just played negation. I didn't see what Paul was playing.
Oh, maybe he tried to take initiative?
Yeah, possibly.
I wish I'd seen that. Oh, well.
Oh, so Daniel's about to get a shot off on the Bantha from around the corner.
With a weak way. Just a normal shot, though. Is not focused. Doesn't have as many focus tokens as he did last round.
Yeah.
He opened the door and got a shot. And then this one's going to come in. This one is focused.
So this would be an example of when I think it is worth it to open the door. He got 2 attacks off of it.
Yep. Definitely. And he had set it up, too. If you noticed, his one weak way was next to the door, so it did not have to move. That's key.
So that's 6.
That's a pretty good attack as well. It's 10 damage on the Bantha right there. Or, sorry, well, 14 now. Or 16? I see 16
is 21 health. Oh.
Squad Swarm.
So he's going to immediately activate his second group of weak way pirates. I think he can maybe kill the Bantha off.
Yeah.
If he's lucky right now.
I mean, he might even kill it off with one of the weak way attacks and then maybe even get a shot on something else of Paul's.
That'll really hurt for Paul if the Bantha Rider goes down before it's even had a chance to attack.
Yeah, it's dealt a teeny bit of damage to Greedo, and that was about it.
Yeah, not... I mean, again, Greedo, I don't know how useful it is to attack him.
Yeah, I mean, like, you want to eventually get rid of him, right? Because otherwise he's going to keep attacking you.
Yeah, he's annoying, but I mean...
Yeah, it definitely, you're more incentivized to attack somebody else, for sure. He's going to bring in another weak way. That's not going to be enough to take it out. Well, actually, with the Surge, he might be able to, right?
So the Surge, I think you can get +2.
And that'd be 5.
5.
I think that takes him to the Bantha to 21.
Oh, he has Assassination.
Okay.
That'll do it.
That'll definitely finish him off. So that's a big swing there.
Yeah, that has to hurt for Paul.
Yeah.
He does still have weak way pirates. He does still have Onar, but the Bantha Rider was a pretty big part of his list.
It was. That said, if I'm Paul, I think... And Daniel's going to get another weak way attack, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But he also has activated most of his heavy hitters at this point. He just has Shyla and Onar left, pretty much.
That's true. The match certainly isn't decided yet. Paul has room left to maneuver around, and as you said, he's going to get a lot of activations without Daniel having much room to retaliate.
Yep. Looks like Daniel's going after Onar. He's attacking Paul's big guys. They're not able to defend with dice. Just trying to pile on the damage quick. Get rid of the guys that are going to be damaged to him.
Yeah, if he can take down Onar too, that's not going to leave Paul with a lot left.
Nope. No, as we saw against in earlier round against Ira with Paul, Ira managed to knock down both in one turn, and that was a big swinging point in the game. It almost gave Ira the match.
Yep. Paul's match is, I think, a lot more reliant on those 2 figures, whereas Daniel isn't relying so much on any one particular unit. If somebody goes down, he still has a lot of other options left.
Definitely. Paul's going after Shyla, which makes sense, trying to take her out before she can attack. Played Wild Attack. I believe it lets him add a die. To attack, they're rolling. Whoa, look at that spin.
Yeah, so Wild Attack is going to let him add a red die to the attack pool and a white die to the defense pool.
Okay. So we saw that. That worked out for him.
I mean, it is a little risky because the white die always adds the potential of just completely dodging the attack.
Yeah. In this case, he basically traded an extra damage for a Surge, which, depending on your point of view, isn't a bad trade. Daniel was able to cancel out both Surges Paul rolled. However, he's still got 4 damage up, and I think he does have the extra Surge.
How bad a spot do you think Daniel will be in if Shyla goes down?
I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, he's basically traded Shyla for the Bantha, and I would take that trade pretty much any day.
I agree.
Paul forced him to reroll white die, which is going to let him surge extra, get a little bit more damage in. Shyla has, was it 12 health, I believe?
Yep, she has 12 health.
So I don't think Paul's going to take her out in this hit. Doesn't look like it. He's not moving to remove her.
She also automatically cancels 1 surge.
Looks like maybe 6 damage was put on her, and here comes the other weak way. Let's see.
Yeah, she can also recover a point of damage at the start of her activation. She is not activated yet.
Right. Paul really wants to take her out now. Although that 1 damage, depending on how much damage he gets in here. Ooh.
Well, that was a good defense roll.
That's
Also not a bad damage
no.
roll.
If Paul's making.
Oh!
Paul tried to make him re-roll, which might have been enough to finish her off, but
he rolled maximum defense 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
And he's canceling out the surge, so that'll be.
Paul's got 2 damage in, and I think he still has the bonus surge. But we'll see. He's looking at his hand, probably trying to find a way to finish her off. 2 damage is just not going to be there. She's going to need at least 1 more full attack. And at that point, her recovering 1 actually might be significant. If he'd been able to do enough where she only has 1 or 2 damage left.
Well, let's
positioning
see.
advantage. So positioning advantage while attacking, apply 1 damage to the attack result. So it's just going to.
That does it.
Finishes her off. Wow. Just barely enough.
And that was a great play.
Yeah.
Positioning advantage. I still think you're right that I would rather lose Shyla than a Bantha Rider, but Paul does need to start taking down some of these big units.
Yeah. And Shyla, while not the biggest, obviously would probably take out Onar. Shyla's definitely not.
Yeah, she's nothing to scoff.
No, you don't want to be fighting her very long. Paul still has Vinto as well, which I think is going to be very interesting. I think he might play a key role here.
Yeah, Vinto we saw last time has the potential to do a lot of damage just through all of his different abilities.
And double attack as well.
Yeah. He's not positioned right now, I think, to do a double attack, but.
No, it looked like Paul was kind of trying to protect, and he moved one of the weak way back to block off the thing. He moved another one back to protect him completely. But that's fine. Paul's going to probably get initiative next turn, so he can set up Vinto at the end of this round so that Vinto can do a double attack next turn.
So we have Greedo going now.
Jumping right in the face.
Why not?
Yep.
I have a feeling Greedo's not going to make it.
It's not going to last too long.
So not too bad an attack roll.
I do not mind that. If I'm only rolling 2 green dice, I will take that roll. Gets a little more damage on Onar. Onar's down to 5 health.
Which is a good place to be in. At this point, if Onar... Has Onar activated?
He is not.
Yeah. So if Onar attacks Greedo, it might be a little risky.
Yeah, I don't think Paul... I don't think I would do that in Paul's position.
No.
I think I'd rather try and get Onar to move out and attack one of the weak way that are kind of hanging out on the edges there.
And it looks like Daniel's positioning Greedo to be as in the way as possible.
Yep.
He's hoping Paul will attack Greedo, I'm guessing, just so he can get that one last attack in.
Greedo's living up to his reputation of being annoying.
Yeah.
Looks like the judge is coming in just to double check something. Probably just movement points or something along those lines. Daniel's explaining his turn. So right now, Daniel's up a little bit in points, thanks to Shiloh coming in and grabbing one of the objectives early on in round 1, or late in round 1. Otherwise, they both have defeated 9 points worth.
It's still pretty close.
Yeah.
I think right now Daniel has the advantage, I would say.
I agree with you. He's got a little bit more damage on Paul's characters, and Paul doesn't have the Bantha anymore, which, while you kind of assume it's going to go down at some point, it went down before it could do much, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, also Onar looks like he might go down very soon.
Yeah. Dan is clearly concentrating on, he knows what he wants. He wants to take out Paul's big characters and then try and use the advantage of having more weak ways than Paul to try and win this match.
I think Daniel's also in a good position to start going for some of the stashes if he wants to. Paul looks a little more locked in right now.
Yeah, it seems almost the opposite of Paul's earlier match, where Paul was the one locking in and having an advantage to go after the objectives, whereas now it seems like Daniel could go after that stash off to the left there with a weak way and Paul would still be able to go after him, but he'd have to bring his figures out and make them vulnerable to do so.
Yeah, the advantage of Daniel opening the door right there is he has a lot more maneuverability at the moment. Paul is going to have to go all the way around if he wants to get to the far back stash.
Yeah, see both players activate C-3PO. Paul's not activating him, but Onar probably needs to activate sometime soon. He's only got 5 health left, and he's focused. You don't want to lose that. Looks like he played planning with, what was it, Gideon?
Yeah, I mean, Daniel doesn't have a lot of units left to attack with. He's using Gideon right now. We'll see if he can manage to get one last attack. I'm trying to see who the last activation is.
I believe it's Onar. I think that was just a repeat of Paul's turn. Gideon planning.
And he's using it to move Onar. Yeah.
Yep. Get him into attack position. My guess is probably that Onar is going to move in and try and finish off Paul's. I don't know if that's...
I don't know if he can.
Yeah, I don't know if he has enough movement. But
so, again, there are a lot of things blocking line of sight right now.
Yep.
So I don't think he can quite make it.
I think he might have enough.
He might. I think he can just barely.
I don't know if he'll have line of sight to Onar. He might have to attack the weak way to Onar's left, but I do think
it's still not a bad move.
No, I mean, you're still... a focused Onar could almost certainly take down a weak way, assuming not a bad roll.
Looks like Paul's really looking at his command cards, probably trying to see anything that can turn the tide in this favor right now.
He's got a handful, so he still has lots of options.
Yeah, and again, as we've seen in the previous matches, even when things look to be really in one person's favor, a well-played command card can turn things around pretty quickly.
Yeah. Looks like, yeah, he's thinking over him fairly deep there. I think he's got negation in hand, and assassinate, and maybe draw. It was hard to tell, but he's definitely got a number of, might have mitigate too. He has mitigate in his list.
So it looks like he's activating Onar right now.
Who do you go after with Onar? Do you just go after Greedo and finish him off and leave yourself open?
Yeah, I mean, you could take him out. There's the risk right now that he could get eliminated anyways.
Right.
The hard thing with taking out Greedo is Greedo might be able to take him out too and not use an activation to do it.
Yeah, I don't... Greedo doesn't have any focus or anything, so he'd have to get 5
he'd have
damage.
to hit 5,
which
so
is definitely possible.
Yeah, 2 green die. He'd have to
get some good surges.
Yeah.
Have to probably get like 3 damage and a surge, I think.
Yeah, I think that might be the only way he can do it. So he has a default of +1 damage. So if he rolled 2 damage on each die, or
that would do it as well.
He's thinking pretty carefully of what he wants to do right now.
Yeah, I feel like his next couple turns are going to determine whether he has a shot at coming back, or if Daniel's going to continue to take advantage, gain the upper hand rather. He's thinking long and hard. Like a true chess player, he's keeping his fingers on the piece. So in case he moves it, then the opponent can't say, "Hey, you took your hand off. That's all you're moving." So this is, again, one of the reasons why the final match is an extra 40 minutes long. It's an hour and 45 minutes for turns like this, where players know it's a critical move, and they want to take a little extra time to think about it.
Yep, it looks like he's going to attack a weak way pirate. I think that's probably the right call.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nope. Changing his mind.
Oh.
Going after Onar, interesting. Oh, he's maybe checking line of sight there, seeing if he could. Trying to figure out how he could get line of sight to Onar. I think then he leaves himself vulnerable, though. You could probably...
Well, I mean, I think he's vulnerable anywhere right now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Onar
yeah.
is Daniel's last activated thing, and Paul's going to get initiative back, assuming no tricks.
Yeah, and I think Daniel's Onar can certainly take out Paul's Onar right here.
Yeah.
And Daniel's is not going to go down for
Full
this
health.
attack.
No, I mean, this is a great attack, but 7 damage, I would take out almost half his health, but that's, he's got 15, so. Paul's considering extra plays. Could not see what he played. Gonna re-roll the blue die. Definitely looks like he has negation in hand. Interesting. He's
doing 6, and he has a surge, so he could do another 2 damage.
If he has the accuracy, which it does look like he has, yeah, he has the accuracy. He can sacrifice that 2 accuracy that the surge would give him, -2 accuracy.
So that's 8 damage. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yep, he gained 1 by re-rolling that blue die. Oh, looks like ended up being 6. Interesting. Wonder.
Oh, is C3PO there?
Oh,
So C3PO would cancel out the surge.
Yeah.
So do you lose 1?
Yeah, he lost 1 effectively in that roll, which I don't know, seems risky, but he didn't have a great roll to begin with. Here comes Onar swinging back.
I mean, that's going to be
Daniel's
enough.
Onar. Yep. As expected. And then he's probably going to run back. Yep.
Yep. So right now, Daniel definitely seems to be controlling the flow of the game. We'll see if Paul has a plan to swing things back in his favor. Right now, it's not looking very good.
No, he does have a couple activations to go. One of them is Gideon, which isn't super useful, but then he also has, I think, is that Vinto that's focused over there?
Yep.
Yeah, it's Vinto. So he still has Vinto, which Vinto isn't going to have any good shots, but assuming Paul gets initiative next round, he can set up Vinto for that pretty well.
He could also, if he wants to, go after an objective for 4 points. I don't know if it's worth it. He'd be pretty vulnerable.
Yeah, if Daniel has take initiative and Paul can't stop him, although I think Paul has negation, so I guess he doesn't have to fear that so much. Interesting thing is, I do think if Paul can get into position here, Daniel's weak-ways are a little vulnerable because they're just sitting there out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of them where he opened the door. The problem is Paul doesn't have any good line of attacks. I really would have liked to see him go over there with Onar last round. I don't know if it was the right call, but it would have definitely been interesting to see.
Do you think if he'd gone maybe through the door earlier, that would help him, or do you think it's just partially bad luck with the Bantha Rider?
Yeah, I don't know about the Bantha Rider play. I think pulling that out so early might have been I think that might have been the mistake, if he made one at all.
Do you think he should have waited until Daniel had put more units out in the center and then charged in with the Bantha?
It's so hard to say because obviously Daniel's going to be careful about that. The thing I didn't like about it was that he did it at the end of round 1 and Daniel was going to get initiative. Now I think we didn't see the card, but I think Paul tried to play take initiative to get it back, in which case if he did, that would have been a great play because then he could have gone around the corner and run over Daniel's figures. But Daniel had the negation. So it might have just come down to Paul thinking, you know what, I've got to take this chance and go for it. And he did, and it just didn't work out for him. Paul attacking with Vinto.
Did some damage to the Weequay Pirate. Also, it's like bleed and second status effect.
The second status effect is usually weaken.
Yep.
And then he did the belt slinger, the bolt slinger on.
I don't know if we've seen
Greedo.
Weaken too much yet.
We haven't really.
Yeah, so Weaken means that the Weequay will have -1 surge when attacking and -1 cancellation of surge while defending. And then he'll discard that at the end of the next activation. So he's essentially weakened this Weequay Pirate a little bit, both for defense and attack, which is pretty nice for Paul.
Especially, I think he put 5 damage on it too, so it makes it a lot easier to finish it off later. It looked like his second attack didn't do much of anything, unfortunately. Daniel's playing tools for the job. We've seen that a bunch today. But it's when you declare an attack, add 1 attack die to your pool, which is super useful. It's basically like, it's kind of like a focus, except you get to choose, which is pretty awesome.
Gives you a lot more flexibility in which die you want. If you know you have range, then why not add the red die?
Yep. If you need range or you want utility, add the green or blue dot. You know. Little attack took out. I guess that must have been with Greedo. Yeah, it was Greedo. So Vinto took out Greedo in that last attack, and then Greedo used his last shot to take out Weequay. Things aren't looking very good for Paul at this point. He's got Vinto and 1 Weequay. I don't know how he can win this against 4 Weequay, full health Onar.
Yeah, I mean, Jabba can attack, but it really isn't going to.
No, if you're resorting to Jabba, you're in trouble.
Gideon can also attack, but isn't very good. C-3PO
Yep.
can't attack at all.
C-3PO is not good in that department. Use Gideon to move the Weequay into position. So if you're Paul, what do you do here? Assuming you get initiative.
I mean, you just hold out and try to attack. Try to take anything down as quickly as you can, I think.
Sure.
Hopefully he has some good command cards to defend. Hopefully he can retreat out of line of sight. He doesn't really have a lot of options.
Yeah, I mean, he does still have a lot of command cards, so if they are useful, obviously, as you can see what Daniel's looking at, he's already spent 6 of his cards. Still has a couple in his hand, though, so it's not like he's completely vulnerable. It looks like Paul has 6 in his hand alone. If Paul can take out a couple Weequay, do you think he has a shot? If, let's say, he takes out 2 of the Weequay, then it'd be like Daniel's flipping tough luck for a black market.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems
black market.
Seems tough.
Has it had? I haven't seen black market have quite as big a play this time. It is giving Daniel the extra command cards. I feel like even if
trying to take initiative, and there's the negation.
Yeah,
from Paul.
if Paul takes down some Weequay, Daniel still has Onar. He still has. It's just. It's a little hard to see right now how Paul's going to swing it around.
Vinto, I think, is really going to have to shine here.
Yep.
With his double attack.
Which we did see him shine in Paul's last match.
Yep. And he's already done a little bit of damage. I think he's going to be here, and he's going to finish off that 1 Weequay.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, with the Weequay pirates there being pretty vulnerable, we're seeing Paul go after them right now.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're not super weak, but against when you're throwing 3 and 4 dice attacks around, you do have a slim shot at one-shotting them, and even if you don't, there's a good chance you only need to hit them twice. But they deal a lot of damage, so.
Yeah, there's still another one behind them too that can then swing out and attack.
Paul is playing, I'm guessing, element of surprise, since he pointed to where he had started.
Yeah, and Daniel does not have a defense die out. It's only 3 damage. It's not what he's hoping for, I'm sure.
He's going to bolt sling the other one. So that's not the worst. Take 1 down. He's got 1 more attack.
And I bet he's hoping for a lucky roll here right now.
Yeah, he's really got to take out a Weequay now, or else he's in trouble.
That's not what he was hoping for.
Not going to be great. He's counting up things, looking at his cards.
Could do 3 with Pierce 2.
Oh, it was enough to take him out, and then he bolt slings another Weequay. He played another command card. Didn't see what it was though. It looks like he's getting a third attack. Holy cow!
So this is what he needs right now.
Yep. It's not a very good roll, but Daniel didn't roll very well either. But I don't think that's going to be enough to finish off the Weequay, right? He's only got 2 damage on him currently.
So he could do Pierce 2 or do an extra damage.
I think
that only puts him at 3. I think it's just barely short.
It's just a couple short, yep.
Yeah, I think he already has 2 damage, so I think he's going to go up to 5. So he's 1. Oh.
4, and he chose to weaken him. He's going to run away a little bit. I think he cares most about Omar going after him, right? At this point?
Yeah, I think so. He's doing a good job of starting to swing things back. I still don't don't know if he's going to make it. If Vinto goes down, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, he really needs one more round with Vinto, I think, at this point.
So we have the last Weequay Pirate who's barely hanging on, attacking.
Pretty good attack roll, but okay defense roll. Paul's checking his discard pile, trying to figure out what Daniel might still have in hand or at ready. Looks like Daniel might. Yeah, Daniel has tough luck earlier because he drew that off the black market. He's got 2 other cards in hand. Running back with the Weequay. Here comes the other one. Or no, sorry. Yeah, Paul had taken 1 of each, so gotta wait to activate the other one. So at this point, do you try and come out with Jabba? I don't think it's worth it, but do you bother?
He could use spend the 2 victory points to order a hit if possible.
That's true. That's very true. That might be worth it. He could order a hit, although Vito doesn't have line of sight. He needs somebody to have line of sight at this point. He's the figure attacks first and then moves.
Yeah, if he could get somebody in line of sight, that would be worth it.
Yeah. Jabba's attack is a melee, which
he only moves a speed of 2.
Yeah.
So
he's not going to get in.
He can't. He would probably be defeated before he made it over there.
Jabba against some Weequay pirates, it seems like a lopsided battle in favor of the pirates. Paul's trying to figure out what to do. He's got a couple of figures, but it's mostly Gideon and C-3PO. Daniel moves Gideon around and focuses Onar.
Do you think there's a chance that Paul will move up with Gideon at this point? He really doesn't have very many units left to attack with.
No, I don't think. I mean, obviously, worst comes to worst, you do attack with Gideon, but he's so far removed. I think you'd rather just have him move out and help that Weequay pirate or help Vinto. Here comes Gideon.
Yep.
He's going to push that pirate out.
Unfortunately, he can't focus, looks like.
It's either focus or move, right?
And he has to.
He wants to try and get out of Onar's line of sight. Daniel's getting set up to bring Onar around the corner and attack. Onar still has C-3PO to help him set up with Onar. He did use Gideon, but I think as long as he has C-3PO, he still has a shot at getting the right position needed to go after that Weequay pirate.
So it looks like Paul is trying to decide where to place his Weequay.
Just as a reminder that Weequay does have 4 damage on it already, so it's not gonna. It doesn't have too long for this world, assuming anybody gets a shot at him.
Yeah, I mean, if you were Paul, how would you turn it around right now?
I think first I pray that Vinto stays on the board, which that's actually a decent shot at. Daniel has 1 damage and 2 surge. He does have enough distance thanks to Weequay's natural accuracy, but otherwise he'd be hurting for distance, for accuracy. Now it's Daniel's turn to check Paul's discard pile.
Yep.
Paul's got a fair bit there now too. Still got like 4 in hand, I believe. Paul has, he has, I think he still has mitigate and on the lamb. Junlin Terror, but Junlin Terror is going to be a useless card now that the Bantha is gone.
Looks like Daniel's still considering if there's anything that Paul could play.
Yeah, I think he's playing mitigate.
Mitigate.
So there's Daniel's mitigate. Obviously trying to maximize. Reroll that one makes sense. Hey.
Yeah, that looks a little better.
That's much better. Still not enough to take out Vinto, but obviously he's, he just cares about piling on the damage as he still has Onar to go.
Yeah, if Daniel can take out Vinto this round, he's going to be in an amazing position for the next round.
Yeah.
And Daniel will have initiative.
Yep. Yeah. As we suspect, Paul already played his take initiative.
So if he can take out Vinto, then next round he can probably just sweep in and take out the weak way.
Yep.
Right away.
At that point, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah.
Interesting. Paul is going after the victory points. I think he did play on the lamb.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you're going to retreat, you might as well also get points while you do it.
That's a good place to retreat to. Onar still probably has a shot at him, but I don't think Onar's going to have a really good roll to take out Vinto, at least this round. Paul's going to get 4 points from that. He'll go up to 28. But that still doesn't seem like enough for anything.
Yeah, I mean, Paul is in a better position than he was, but I still don't see how he's going to take it.
He's trying to figure out what to do. He's got C-3PO left to activate. Looking at cards in his hand, playing with them.
Yeah, hopefully he has some good cards in his hand. From his face, it might not be the case.
Hands on his head is a bad sign. Don't know. Looks like maybe he's saying he wished he had activated Vinto differently. I'm not sure what that was about.
Seems like they're thinking things over right now.
Yeah, this game has progressed pretty fast. If this were a normal round time, they might have to consider, running out of time. But with the extra time allotted for a final, they have lots of time remaining. And at this point, Paul's willing to take a few moments to consider his moves.
Looks like he's looking at Daniel's discard again, trying to figure out what cards Daniel might have in his hand.
Activated the weak way. Forgot that he had that activated. Now he's trying to figure out who to attack.
Looks like he pointed at the weak way.
Yeah, that one has full health, I believe. It's a decent attack, though.
So
he's going to re-roll. That makes sense. All right, just piling on the damage.
It's not a bad roll.
Nope. 5 damage. That's puts him in a better position. I don't think, with initiative going back to Daniel, I think he's still in a tight spot. But now most of Daniel's figures have damage on them. So given the right opportunity, Paul will be able to. Tough luck.
There we go.
So only 3 damage. But as I was saying, Paul does have a better chance at taking out a number of figures in one turn, especially with Vinto, when all of them have multiple damage on them. Onar is still a ways away. I think he only has 6, so he still has 9 health. But the weak way all have at least a couple, which puts them within range of a one shot to kill, to defeat.
Yeah, Daniel's really going to want to try to take out Vinto if he can before he activates next turn. And then after that, really, Paul doesn't have much left. I think he still has 1 weak way, right?
He's 1 weak way and then
Vinto.
Just support units.
Yeah. Paul just activated C-3PO.
Yep, that was his last guy. Daniel had activated C-3PO and focused Onar. Clearly coming in.
He's going to go for the stash. Right. It looks like he's trying to get as many points as he can right now.
Yep.
So he only will have to take out a couple of units of Daniel's.
Well, remember, Paul does have celebration. The chances of playing it seem slim.
But if he can, maybe that could be the deciding factor. Yeah,
if Daniel makes a mistake, if Daniel goes after Vinto with Onar, which doesn't look like he's going to, maybe he will. But Paul has a chance to use that weak way to finish off Gideon or C-3PO and play that celebration, potentially for the win, depending on how things end up. Interesting to see what Daniel does with Onar here.
Yeah, I still think it's in Daniel's favor, but Paul is doing everything he can to create a slim window to win.
He's giving Daniel tough choices, which is all he can do at this point.
Yep.
takes the damage to pull in the weak way, also damaging the weak way slightly. And then throws a big attack. I don't know who he's throwing it at. Probably the weak way. That was the best defense die Paul could hope for, but doesn't matter. That weak way had too much damage on it.
Yep.
All right. So Paul is going to get 8 points here. Opportunistic to move in. Okay, no, he's not.
All right, that was a great play by Daniel. So
Yeah.
Paul's only going to get 4 points. It'll put him at 28. I don't know if he's going to be able to take out
I don't.
enough to make up that difference. That was a really great.
That was a great play by Daniel.
Yeah.
If Paul had gotten those 4 points, he would have had a chance.
Not necessarily a great chance, but it was definitely
Yeah.
a risk for Daniel if he had 8 points.
He's closing off Paul's windows of opportunity, which is what he wants to do in this position.
So I think they both used up take initiative and negation.
I believe so. They both played negation for sure, and I believe Daniel definitely played take initiative. We believe Paul did.
Yeah, but it looks like Paul is not taking initiative. So I believe that is what he played earlier.
Daniel looks like he's considering activating the weak ways. Seems risky at this point. I feel like he probably wants to use Onar to try and finish off Into. He probably won't be able to, but I don't know. What do you do if you're in Daniel's position to try and close out this match?
I mean, even if Onar doesn't take out Vinto and Vinto takes out Onar, that wouldn't be enough to decide it for Paul. So I think Daniel can afford to take that risk.
Do you wait? Do you try and bring Gideon or C-3PO around the corner and boost Onar? Black market.
Oh.
I can't see what that is at the moment. It's one of his few cards remaining.
Yeah, it looks like Daniel only has maybe 1 or 2 cards left after this.
In his deck, yeah. He's got 3 cards in hand, 1 revealed, and only 1 or 2 left in deck. But I mean, that's what you want to do. Maybe that's on the lamb? Can't tell. I can't see the art. Yeah, there we go. Yep.
On the lamb.
On lamb. That's
yeah,
a big card.
He should go in, I think, and attack with Onar.
Yeah,
then.
with on the lamb as protection now, Daniel's sitting pretty well.
I would love to see Paul get the chance to play a celebration, because it's not a card you get to see used too often.
Yeah, I'm still surprised he's
Successfully.
running it. Here comes one of the weak ways.
Yeah.
I think he feels a little more confident about the weak ways now that he has on the lamb, so he can prevent Vinto from killing off one of them pretty easily.
Oh, element of surprise. All right, so that's going to help a lot.
Yep.
It's taking away the defense die.
He only has the 2 attack dice, but that's pretty much what you want,
3.
as we discussed earlier. 3 attack
I think
and
he
a
can do
surge.
+2.
Yep. He gets 5 in. And
Oh, that
takes
did
off Vinto.
I mean, at this point, do you see any way for Paul to recover?
No. At this point, Vinto was his last hope. I mean, Daniel has 3 different figures that can do damage.
He has
Paul has...
Gideon, C-3PO, and Jabba.
Yeah.
Gideon's the only one who really can attack at this point.
Yeah, Jabba's never going to get the chance thanks to
No.
his slow movement and melee attack.
No, and Gideon isn't the right faction, so he can't even command a hit with him.
Right. I don't even know if he would want to, because he'd lose
No.
2 points. At this point, I feel like his best bet is to try and get to 40 points, but I don't know how he can.
I don't see how he can. He could maybe run away into the rank, or I don't know. Daniel still has a weak way pirate to activate, Onar to activate. I mean,
Gideon and C-3PO to activate.
I don't see how Paul can turn it around right now.
Yeah, Paul can pass a little bit to delay the inevitable, but in the end, he's only going to get 1 figure to move last, and if Daniel plays it right, he can just contest all of the nearby stashes so that Paul can't even gain control of any of them.
Looks like Paul is thinking.
Yeah, I think he knows he's in a tight spot.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do at this point in his position? Do you just try to get any points you can?
They're both kind of laughing. normal match, this is probably where Paul offers his hand, but since it's the finals of the World Championship, I think he wants to do everything he can to at least attempt to win.
Yeah, I think he wants to play the best game he can. I think he has to know at this point that it's pretty much done deal.
Yeah.
Looks like they're talking a little bit.
Paul's thinking about
He's
activating
thinking it.
C3PO, I think. And C3PO can't even do anything to Daniel's figures.
No, C3PO can only run away. There aren't even. There's nobody around for him to focus, I think, either.
No, he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Gideon's not even close by.
No.
I mean, if he could focus Gideon, Gideon might be able to take out one of those characters, but with 3 of them there's just no hope.
Yep, he's retreating with C3PO.
Looks like he is trying to run to the Rancor pit. Funny enough.
This will be the first time we see anybody go into the Rancor pit if he does.
Doesn't look like he has enough
No.
movement points. But that weak way pirate did activate, so maybe he survives.
Maybe he survives.
Onar can just come around the corner, though.
I mean,
Here comes C-3PO with urgency.
All right.
He's bringing his C-3PO out. Just going for the stash. Daniel's like not even going to bother trying to wipe out Paul's
Yeah.
figures. He's just like,
Why
Yep.
do it?
if he can grab all 3 stashes this round, he wins. Paul can contest. Well, he could have contested one. Now I don't know if he even can with.
Can Gideon make? Oh.
Gideon's okay. So he is going to contest one of the stashes. This is a crazy finish here.
And this is the first time we've seen anybody go in
Under the
there.
Rancor pit. Yep.
Oh no, we did see the Aligned Smuggler. I take that back.
Yeah, but that was the different mission.
Yeah, that
now,
was the different
so
mission.
A little different.
It looks like Paul's just trying to get any points he can.
Yep, he's doing everything he can.
But
I mean, so this is living in dreamland, I think. But assuming this round finishes, Daniel will get 8 points, I think. I don't know if there's a way for him to contest the Rancor pit at this point.
yeah, I
guess
why
potentially
even,
with
why
Gideon.
bother? He could.
Yeah, he could use Gideon to move that weak way that he's using right now, but he's already moving the weak way just normally.
I think he's just going to attack Gideon.
Gideon, yep.
He'll get 8 points.
And he'll be 4 away. Beating Gideon just gives him an extra, just 3 points. That's not enough, but defeating Gideon does remove Paul's only chance of defeating a figure at this point.
Yeah.
So now here comes Jabba. And the crowd goes wild. I think this is the first time all tournament that we've seen Jabba actually move.
Yeah, not just attack. Literally the first time he's moved.
Yep.
He will have to open the door.
And then move 2 more points.
But he will make it to the next round.
Yep. Somebody's trying to start a Jabba chant here. Daniel's just moving his figures. He's just saying, hey, like, at this point I've got it.
Why not?
Yep,
I don't think Daniel needs to think too hard at this point about what he's going to do.
No, finish the round, get to the next round, and then win. With Gideon gone, I don't think Paul has any shot.
No.
In Dreamland,
No.
in Dreamland, if Gideon had survived, perhaps he could have taken somebody out and got enough points to play like Celebration and win or something. But
he would have had to take out either C-3PO or.
But then that would have been.
Onar.
Yeah, I don't think. Actually, I don't think he had any
I don't
absolute
think he
possibility.
can take it.
If he would have had to take Gideon or C-3PO, which wouldn't have been enough points to push him over the edge. He had to defeat like one of the weak way to get enough points over the edge, but then he wouldn't have been able to play Celebration.
So funnily enough, right now, Paul has 32 points and Daniel has 39 points. It's 1 point away. Paul does have, in theory, if he had anybody left to attack,
he had
only
his
8
initiative.
points away.
Here comes Jabba opening the door. Even though he has command cards left, I don't think he can do anything.
Maybe if he has
He played
No.
he played Assassinate earlier, I believe, right? Not that Jabba's even going to be able to attack.
So Jabba doesn't do a ranged attack, so he'd have to be adjacent. He has 2 movement points. He used an action to open the door.
There's the hand.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
Daniel Taylor wins a second Imperial Assault World Championship in a row, 2016 and 2017 champion. And he defeated Paul Heaver, who was runner-up in 2015.
Yeah, 2 times in a row. Or 2015, yeah. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Paul Heaver's runner-up twice. He's just missing out both times. It looked like, I don't know about you, but I still come back to that Bantha play early on. I think that was the deciding factor in the end.
Yeah, Bantha play, and he had bad luck with not being able to take initiative. But
I mean,
it was a risky move.
Yep, he kind of had to go for it. The longer you wait, the more chances you give your opponent to actually draw a negation. So
He did every single thing he could to stay in the game.
Yeah. If there was a mistake, it might have been the Bantha, but I don't even know. It just seemed like Daniel the whole game. He played perfectly, positioned well, and he had the dice did not desert him, which is more than anyone can ask for.
Yeah.
So welcome back. I don't know about you, Gwen, but I'm tired after all these awesome matches.
Yeah, it was great fun to see. I'm happy we got to see Jabba move.
The final match, finally he moves off his throne.
I would have loved it if we saw him perform an attack.
That would have been great.
I don't think he was going to make it.
No, sadly. So I believe we're going to be interviewing both players, correct?
Yep, correct.
So we're going to step away for a minute, and then you guys are going to get to hear what the players have to say, their thoughts about the game, and you get to hear from both Paul Heaver and two-time world champion, Daniel Taylor. Hey, we're back. I'm here with Paul Heaver, runner-up in Imperial Assault 2017 World Championships. Paul, you got so close yet again.
It was a hell of a run, almost made it, but didn't quite get there. And Den was, like, he did everything perfectly there, so he did everything fine, yeah.
It seemed like his movements in that last game, just like, he didn't seem to make a single mistake.
No, nothing was exposed that, he just put everything perfectly hidden. Like he knew, obviously he's played the map, many times before, so he knew where to go, where to hide, where all the good places were, yeah.
So, I hate to bring it up. This is the second time you've fallen just short in Imperial Assault.
The bridesmaid, yeah.
Do you think you're going to try even harder? Like, I know you were testing Imperial Assault a ton this year. Do you think you're going to try harder next year?
I don't know how much harder I could try, but
fair.
Yeah. No, we Ira and I did a lot of practice in our local store, Huzzah Hobbies. A little plug there. Sure. But it showed because he went top 8 before I knocked him out, and I got to the finals. So IA is not a game you can just show up to anymore. Like it's like a serious game where you have to practice and put in the reps now. Yeah.
Yeah, your participation clearly showed. I think throughout watching, we got to watch you once on stream. I got to watch you during the Swiss rounds and stuff. It clearly showed that you were prepared. That said, it did look like you made one mistake in this last game. Do you think there was any sort of turning point? I'm going to bring it up, but I'm curious if you thought there's any turning point or anything that might have mattered.
There was definitely a point where I was like, well, if he has negation and squad swarm, I just lose at the end of the first turn, like when I tried to take the initiative and everything. But I was like, if he doesn't have it, then I pretty much win. So I went all in on that, and I don't know, maybe I should have been a little more back, but I can't be not aggressive with the Bantha. It's just not how I play.
Sure, that makes sense. And perhaps I apologize. Maybe I shouldn't have said mistake.
I want to hear it. Well, what did I do wrong?
That is what I was thinking of. Was the Bantha move? I completely agree that if you don't go for it, you're just giving him more time to draw negation.
A lot more people because my guys hit a focus limit. I only have really 3 guys that get focus at the first, and then I only have 2 guys that can get focus after that. Before I've focused all my dudes, and he could keep focusing more and more guys as time goes on because I have 3 people focusing when he only has 2. So I definitely have to get in there before he just overwhelms me with dice.
So it seems like that call was not only a good call in general if he doesn't have negation, but it was also just a good call in terms of this specific matchup.
And I just like charging the Bantha in places. So That's what it does.
Well, I know the folks back at home love seeing it played. We saw a lot of comments in chat for you during your during your earlier match on stream. I want to congratulate you, Paul. Even though you got second, congratulations on getting so far. I hope to see you again next year, maybe even taking it all.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
Thank you very much.
thanks. Take care. All right. Now we're here with Daniel Taylor, 2017 World Champion and 2016 World Champion too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. How does it feel to win 2 years in a row?
It's really awesome.
That's just a fantastic feat. Like winning twice is a big thing, but then 2 years in a row, just proving that you still have it. A completely different meta too, I feel. Last time it was all troopers.
Yeah, I mean, this time was all the hunters, but I feel like there were other things you could play. Just the hunters is like the most consistent, easiest to play, easiest to understand, you know.
Sure, we saw a fair bit of variation in the hunter list as well. Like in the 4 matches we saw on stream, there's only really 2 lists that seemed almost identical. You know, some lists had Java, some lists Paul had Bantha. Some lists had Vinto, some didn't. Do you think there was a particular list that was like the list? Was it your list? Was it another list?
I know I really agonized a lot over what I was going to take this year. Mainly because it's just there's so many options. Like Jabba's good. I took Onar because like I'd rather have the gun and the health that matters in the fight.
Sure.
But like I mean Jabba's a perfectly reasonable choice. Then like a couple of people went with the 8 activations, which is pretty strong. You get to go last a lot. I mean I eventually just decided on this 7 with Scheme and Shyla. Shyla's pretty good against like the guards that I knew people would have.
Okay, is that why? I was curious, like, Shyla's obviously a good all-around thing, but I was curious if there's a specific reason certain lists were running it.
Yeah, she's got some gotchas, right? Like, if you're not super careful, round 1, she just pops out, grabs a guy, and you lose him, and like, game's pretty much over. So that's why I took her. But like guards instead of her are perfectly reasonable as well. It's just really hard to decide right now.
That said, is there anything you would change after having gone through all this, won it? Is there anything you'd like to change about your list?
I might try like the 8 activation, like take out Shyla and Scheme, put in like hired guns and Vinto. I was playing that a little bit before the Worlds, but like not enough to like feel confident in it. But it's good.
Gotcha. You put more time in with this this particular list, rather.
Yeah. I mean, I play a bunch of different lists. This one I probably played like the most, but not significantly more. But
all right, one last question. This is the big one. Do you have any idea what you're going to try and talk to the developers about in terms of perhaps getting made in a future expansion?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still working on the first card, so we'll have to wait and see, you know, what falls out.
All right. Well, I want to present this trophy to you. Congratulations on winning World Championships a second time.
Thank you.
That is just an awesome achievement. We also have fantastic playmats.
Yeah.
I know you already have one from last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you very much, Daniel. Congratulations once again. I probably can't say it enough. And hopefully we'll see you again next year defending the title.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Awesome. See ya.